Okay, let's take this further. Let's assume more and more
Alastair
people become
McCloud.
convinced that paper money is going to lose all its value. The rise in prices for goods, as we now know, comes from the money side. Because
September
people minimize their
2012.
cash liquidity. But then something interesting happens. At some point, money is no longer being viewed objectively. People begin to value money subjectively. They start thinking it is going to fall, and they feel more secure owning goods, not because they want them, but because they want money less. Bizarrely, there is more certainty in goods. The objective-subjective relationship is flipped, and the purchasing power of money collapses. How might this happen? Gold in its monetary role was money all over the world, while fiat money is money only in the country for which it is created. Because gold, in the absence of enforced acceptance of paper money, is accepted everywhere as money, it has an intrinsic value. Everywhere. Paper money only has a value in the country whose government issues it, and that acceptance boils down to the value of the issuer's implied and untested promise that the fiat money actually has value. Otherwise, it has no value. This is essentially a domestic or a national price relationship. But any weakness in the issuer's implied promise of value is usually first exposed in foreign exchange markets, where one fiat money is exchanged for others. So we need to think about the human psychology of the foreign exchange markets. Foreign exchange dealers are also human. They are tasked with making profits, or at least not making losses. They account for the result of their transactions in a base currency, which is admittedly another paper currency. In the case of an American bank, it is US dollars. Its dealers view US dollars objectively as a value in their transactions. A level book is one that is entirely US dollars. The subjective variable is the foreign currency. Foreign currencies, by which I mean all fiat money, with the exception of the base currency, will always be sold, redeemed if you like, because they have no value out of their countries of origin, other than speculative value. The government promise has no extraterritorial meaning. If foreign exchange dealers form the subjective view that the price of a euro, for example, exceeds its true value, they'll sell it. And if events tomorrow and the day after appear to confirm their view, they'll probably keep on selling it. So the consequences of their subjective views end up affecting the euro prices of all internationally sourced raw materials and goods for the residents of Euroland. This explains why prices in a country can rise substantially. Actually, what's happening is the assumed value of the paper currency in the foreign exchange markets is falling. But there is a conflict of opinions here. Foreigners view our paper money subjectively, while we view it objectively. They view it subjectively because they have to. We view it objectively because we want to. We will ignore the lies of our government for a long time. This is the history of all monetary collapses. It is extremely inconvenient to think money is unstable to the point where we should abandon it for the purposes of buying and selling goods. We know its purchasing power is falling, but to actually discard it for transactions is a denial of its function. This is what the German people thought after the First World War until about May or June 1923. Despite the fact that the purchasing power of the mark had fallen to a tiny fraction of its pre-war value. Only then did the German people begin to abandon the hope that the mark had any use at all as a medium of exchange. Objective, subjective flipped. They cashed in their bank accounts to purchase anything. Nobody would accept a check because it took too long to clear. The result was that demand for paper money in the form of notes of increasing denomination rocketed. The stickiness of the system meant it took 5 months for subjective valuation by the people to collapse the mark entirely. With electronic money, it should happen far more quickly. People term these episodes hyperinflation. Hyperinflation actually refers to the rapid escalation of the supply of money. Germany's hyperinflation was the deliberate government response to its citizens' loss of faith in its promises. But you don't need hyperinflation for fiat money to return to its intrinsic value, which is zero. In theory, it can collapse without it. Actually, what happens is you and I take the subjective view that our government's money is completely worthless. We lose all confidence in it. It's not hyperinflation, it's currency collapse. The consequences in the absence of gold and silver are horrific. Everything that requires money to happen won't happen. The whole of society freezes because society depends for its existence not on government, but on processes associated with the division of labour. Prices are at the heart of this. They are the genesis of economics. No prices, no society. Governments show no sign of understanding this. They have swallowed the fallacies of marginal theories, Keynesianism if you like, and the exercise of power over people by planning their lives for the benefit of government objectives. Government believes it is a replacement for society. It is not. Unless this changes, the result is that sometime in the future, confidence in inherently valueless money, backed only by government coercion, will be viewed for what it is worth, zero. We are already most probably beyond the point of no return. I have little doubt that if you have bought gold or silver as an investment to sell at a profit, you will make money. You're looking at the gold and silver prices subjectively and the dollar objectively. In your heart, you cannot believe the dollar has no intrinsic value. Otherwise, why sell gold to buy paper? You can, of course, change your mind as events progress. But the people in this hall who have it right are those who've secured some physical gold and silver because they think there is a chance, however remote it might seem today, that paper money will collapse. In that event, they will have something put aside to buy food and life's essentials without resorting to inefficient barter. The economic case of gold and silver, for that matter, is that it is the only true money chosen by society and not governments. And when governments finally run out of credibility, which history tells us is a question of when and not if, you better have some physical gold and silver. Thank you.
Chicago,
I don't know if we've got time for some questions.
September 20th, 2012.
Can't really see. Any questions?